All right, good morning, everybody. Hello, we're going to wait just a couple minutes, let everybody join us. Mike Doe here at Melco. I'm here with.
Scott Stengel.
Pointing the
Hello,
right.
everybody.
There it is. That's the direction I should have pointed. Scott Stengel, also part of the applications team here at Melco. Scott is going to be talking about the conversion assistant, and just want to give this a couple minutes. Let everybody join. So give a shout out wherever you're at today. Let us know that you're here. Hopefully it's a lot warmer than last week, right? I know it is here, and I know our buddies in Oklahoma aren't freezing anymore, so that's good. There's Rachel. Hey, Rachel, how you doing? She's always warm, I think, in South Carolina, right, Rachel? Big shout out to Rachel, and for the love of Melco Embroidery, the Facebook. If you're not a part of that group, join it. It's awesome. Independent group. All right, let's see who else is out there. Give us a shout out wherever you're at, guys. 70 degrees and sunny in South Carolina. Good for you.
Yesterday was almost 60. It felt like beautiful in the sun. I had to take 10 minutes outside and enjoy it. Today, 6 inches of snow. Colorado in the spring.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, a couple more minutes here and we will get started. There's Brenda Klein from New Jersey. Hello, Brenda. And Heather Chamberlain. Hello, how you doing, Heather? And I apologize if you hear a little rumbling in the background. The Does have a little home improvements going on in the background, so I apologize for the background noise. We'll try to keep it low. So 47 and so warm in Ohio. 47 is pretty warm for Ohio. So Artscape Creative, hello, hello. Howdy back. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Once again, today's topic is DesignShop v11 Conversion Assistant. Scott is going to walk us through how to use this tool. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please post those questions, and we'll try to get to as many of those as we can. Barbie Hiller just joined us, 82 in South Texas. That's a whole lot better than what you had last week, right, Barbie? So really good stuff. So, all right, let's hand it over to Scott and his screen. And Scott, take it away, buddy.
All right, so welcome to 4K land is what I say first. I've been hammering on this, but you just cannot believe how new and crisp and just exciting it is to use DesignShop 11 in 4K. So look into it if you get a chance. You really need probably a video card and a monitor. So $400 at the most, and wow, what a difference. So there's basically 4 different ways to convert, graphic to embroidery. And so I have a coffee logo up here. Well, actually, it's 12 of them. So the first way, one of the ways to convert would be up here. Everybody's used to this from V10. This is just a straight conversion that just takes whatever order the vectors are in the file and converts them. So very fast. There's some good uses for this, but it's not going to give you the best thread paths and all that. If we can assist it along and coach it and help it, it's going to do an excellent job. So that's one. Then also, of course, we have the new revised graphic assistant, conversion assistant. This can be done 2 ways. We have an auto convert button here, which is like convert up top, except it gives you a little more control. I can shuffle the colors if I had those more in order before I converted it. So a little more control, but still a basically one-click solution. And then the one I love is the step through. That works pretty fast, but it really helps the embroidery come out better because you're coaching it a lot more and making decisions for it as you go. So we have a fourth one here, which is stitch graphic region. This is a tool to click and basically convert individual objects. So we have the convert up top, the stitch graphic region, the step through, and oops, sorry. I hit convert by mistake. Oh well, grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and see what happens.
Scott, this is time for a great joke. What's it called when you're what is it called when someone steals your coffee? A mug.
I don't know. Great. So you can see it here within what, 25 seconds. We converted 12 logos. And we look around, zoom in, did an amazing job on a lot of them. There's always going to be a little something to take care of because, boy, there are so many decisions that the software makes when converting. Each element, each vector is actually digitized internally in DesignShop over 300 times, 300 different ways, and then it's graded, and the winner is the one that's selected. So it goes through a ton of stuff in the background. But yeah, 70,000 stitches, 12 logos in 20 seconds. Not bad, huh? All right, so we'll get a little more into detail here. So I'm going to toss these stitches. And we'll just take one of these. This one's pretty good representative logo. So I'll copy that, start a new window, and I will paste it. And I'll center it, and maybe we'll go up to 3 inches so everybody can see this. So decent left chest size. Oh, maybe to spice it up, I'm going to just colorize it a little bit. So we'll take... you could do this in a graphics program very easily too, but if you don't have one, you can use DesignShop.
Yeah,
so we'll make.
I didn't know that you could do that. That's neat. So you can actually take different pieces of the vector in DesignShop and colorize it, Scott?
And separate it out too. So having it a different color, if you do the step through, gives you individual control over that part instead of all as one color. So even if you're going to combine them into one color later, sometimes it's to your advantage to split them out as you convert them. All right, so then we'll make this, burgundy, how about? And then the last, we'll go start on the cup, shift, and then control to select these two. What color should we make this? How about dark gray? All right. Okay. So these didn't work. Let's do this again. There is brown. Apply. Helps if you hit apply, right?
That's always a good thing to hit once if you want something to actually take. Yep.
All right, we'll try this once more. Okay, apply. Now we got it like we want it. Okay, so like I said up top, if I select the whole design, I can convert. And I have control here. This is in all different ways of converting the vector options. So first, this is when the satin fill kicks in, 6 millimeters. We've moved it up to 8 for the regular lettering and stuff like that. You have your control over this, and you can save defaults however you want it. So 6 millimeters for that. This is very cool. I was talking about this last week. So generate travel walks is going to find a way to walk underneath things that are not going to be so visible, and it's going to cut your trim count drastically. And then we have, of course, when lines are either thinner or thicker than 5 points, it's going to turn them into a walk or a bean or a single line. So that's the threshold there, and the single line is going to be 12 points minimum. And then we have filters here for deleting objects that are very small, teeny stars and stuff that you don't want to stitch, and then the size of the holes that you're going to delete. This is a hard one to get because if you're doing very small stuff, you don't want to delete huge holes. Like if you're doing a letter A, you don't want to delete the triangle in the top and have it be solid. It should be easier to stitch, but In general, though, 12 points or 12 points squared is a good starting point, and just move this up to 100 or just try different things and you'll find how it works. Okay, so that's how that works. And then I can apply a style to a fabric style, which is going to set underlay, lock stitches, density, all that kind of stuff. And there's some here for different weights of fabric. You can make your own styles for however you prefer things. And then, of course, I can just click on convert, and it will convert to stitches. And if I look at my list, and I'll update the trims right here because I haven't saved it, you can see that there's a bunch. Well, the way I love to go see how many trims are in this design is our new printer app. We're going to get into this in more detail in another session, but you can see here that I have 17 trims in the design. That's a fair amount, but remember, it just converted it exactly how the vector order was. All right, so let me get rid of that.
Hey, Scott, I got a question for you. You're pretty techie yourself. I'm just curious, do you know how a tech drinks coffee? Oh, you're drinking some coffee. He installs Java. He installs Java. Okay, sorry.
Oh, man. We're on a roll, huh? We should start a late night talk show or something, right? Okay, so that shows convert, and it gives you a lot of options, but it just converts straight through. So we're going to have a lot of trims because these vectors are just all over the place. So another way, second way I'll show you, which I talked about, is auto convert. So this is like convert, but it gives you a little more, like I said, control over things. I can take here and match to thread color, so it'll automatically match to Madeira or whatever thread that I use. And really importantly is I can shuffle the order. So in this case, we would probably do the coffee first, but well, let's do to go first, bottom up, right? So we do to go, coffee, and then the coffee cup itself. We can convert to vector, but mostly in case you want to do print or something, but in general, excuse me, we're going to go to embroidery. Here's our styles that I showed you that was up top before to convert. You also have control over the number of colors, slider more or less. And then I can change here individual elements. If I don't have a graphics program, I can use my color picker and I'll say, oh, here's the coffee color. Then I'll stitch the region and I can make, let's say, the two beans match the coffee just for a little something. And then right here is overlap. So this decides this is not applicable over here, but if I had a fill behind coffee, how much does the fill tuck underneath so that I don't get a gap? Because if we line it right up with embroidery, we get shrinkage, you're going to have a gap there. So this is how much the overlap is. And flatten, I'm going to cover in a little bit, but this is very important because graphics can be set up in 6 or 7 layers of different shapes. Print doesn't care about it because it just prints one layer. It is very important to us. So usually you're always going to want to flatten. All right, so I've set the order, but that's pretty much all that I did. And then I can click auto convert. And in 2 seconds, right, it converted it. Now watch, I can update the trims. And now we have very few. Let's go back to our printer app. You can see we're down to 8. So we went from 17 to 8 trims just by going and shuffling the order. All right, so that's a fast way to do it. Gives you a little more control. All right, the favorite way I was explaining is to go through the step through. So first, I'm going to select the order. I'll do it just like I did before. So we do to go, then coffee, then the cup. And I'm going to click on step through right here. So this has some pretty cool features in it. This is a little bit rough with bumps and stuff like that. Sometimes, artwork is set up to be sort of sketchy looking. My experience is like with crayon looking letters and that kind of stuff, if it's distorted, you really got to accent the distortion, because if you don't, it'll look like it was supposed to be, you know, crisp and it was done poorly. So I'm just going to just smooth the curves just down a little bit so that they're nice, easy, more rounded shapes. Then as far as the order goes, the other two methods I show you just convert in the order that the vectors are in, but the step through I can change it. So I have right here is the general stitch order. So if I wanted to go center out, now it goes 1, 2, then 3, 4. So it's going to push to the outside. I can go right to left, left to right. I'm going to show you this manual later. So this allows me to individually tell it the order in which I want it to convert. All right, and so that's all I want to say about this step. I go to the next step. Now I get my splices and my stitch direction lines. In general, this is the one I love to use, which is auto compute. This will generate splices as well as stitch direction lines all in one step. So we'll grab this. Now it doesn't matter the order I click on these, right? Because in the previous step, I've decided the order that it's going to be stitched in, or the thread path. So you can see it put splices in, separated the areas out, and it's a pretty quick way to do it. All right, then I go next color. Back up a little bit so you can see. And same here, but 2 elements, so I'm going to leave it in the order that it is, and I will go next step, and I will go back to my auto compute, click on these 2. That's all done. Go to the next color. Now this is where we had some issues with kind of strange stitches trying to take care of all the holes and all. We have 2 tools here. One is to fill an individual region. So if I wanted to just delete one hole, I could do that, but it takes a while to click around. Delete all holes is a much better way to do it. So with one click, I'm removing all the holes that are going to give me distortion. I'm going to go over the fine centerline feature next. We talked about curve smoothing. Also, this, I'll show you in a bit, is where you can say, well, I can't do all of tan at once. I have to do some at one part early in the logo and then come back and do it after the fills, let's say, in the top. So that's going to be for that. I also can up here convert individual colors if I don't want to go through the whole sequence. And then we talked about our overlap. So for this one, I'm going to tell it the order that I want to convert it. So I'll click on manual sequencing. We'll start at the bottom, and then you see that it's changing the order. Now 2, 3, I would normally go 4 here, right? Now I like to go way across. How come? If you're doing a lot of trims in a small area, your bobbin tail doesn't get a chance to clear the hole, and then it's clogged in with the rest of it. So it's always best to move to another place when possible to free up the tails, and then you're going to get better tie-ins and all that. So it's just a thing I've used forever.
Yeah, you know, Scott, when you mention that, sometimes what'll happen is you'll see that tail that gets combobulated in there. If you don't move far enough, it'll actually get pulled back up by the needle and be like a, you know, the tail is up on top of the sew out instead of staying on the bottom of it. So good point.
Yeah, exactly. So, and moving around doesn't really take much extra time. So, okay, so we did this. Then I'm going to go and do these guys here, and then I'm going to follow with this, and then I'm going to come straight down, right? So these are already labeled. So that's the order that I'm going to go in. This is going to minimize some trims. All right, then next step. And here I have, like I was talking, the different stitch direction tools. I use the single as well as the auto. Auto for lettering and stuff like that more, but the single has a lot of value too, because for these beans, I just want them to be straight. I don't want them to curve and do all that. It's going to add some funkiness to something that's so small. So we'll just use the single for stuff like this. And then I will go back to, well, I'll show you a splice too, because I could splice this area right here. Then I go to the single, and see, that makes a better look up there. And then I will go back to single for these 2. And I will do these in single. And then I'll go back to the auto because I want some splices and some turns and stuff like that. And go to the next color and it's done. There's always a little bit of pushing around or something, and that's due to the complexity of digitizing. I mean, this, like I said, how much work the computer is doing to try and get the shapes up. You know, it can't get everything right because it's not a seasoned veteran digitizer. So no problem, it takes a second. So like up here, well, these are overlapped because our style says two overlap lines for fills. That's probably undesirable in this. So very easy to go in and fix things. Just go into properties. I'll go select multi-line and I can go to the advanced tab and here's the fill overlap lines. So we'll set this to 0 and you can see that I don't have the overlap lines now. So if I expand this out, and we update the trims, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, same as we got with the auto convert, but we have a lot more control over how this looks. It looks much better without the holes in there and all that kind of stuff. So that's the step through. It can give you less trims in general and more control.
Hey,
Any questions?
well, Scott, actually, before we jump onto the next conversion assistant piece, I just want to make a shout out real quick, and let me bring the screen back over here, and let me add my friend back to this a minute. So I just want to make sure that everybody has had the opportunity to learn about DesignShop v11. We launched it last Monday, a week ago, this last Monday. So it's been out for what, like 10 days now. Everything is going really well. So if you have a chance, if you've got DesignShop or if you're using another program and you're looking for something better, give us a shout, sales@melco.com, or if you know who your salesperson is, give them a shout. You can always call the phone number. We'll have Dan put the number up for contacting Melco, but give us a shout on it. Hey, yeah, someone commented, let's just go through, and Brenda Klein, and I believe I'm saying the last name right. I hope so, Brenda. I apologize if not. She said she loves 11. Let's see here. Marina Epps says thanks. Artscape Creative. Let's see here. Will the video be available later? Yes, all of our videos are always available on our Facebook page as well as YouTube. And then I also, Scott, I took that video that you and I talked about that Nate did that's in the manual, and I posted that both in YouTube and Facebook. So make sure that you guys are checking that out. Dan just put the contact information on contacting Melco, but there's some really good incentives right now for upgrading to DesignShop v11. So make sure that you're reaching out to us. I know last week was we had so many people excited about the product that we couldn't get back to everybody. Hey, just put a post in. I love how easy it is on my eyes with the new settings it uses for the new monitor. So yeah, Jason, I agree with you, man. The way that the 4K stuff works. I wear these glasses, and you can see how much purple hinge they have. That's because my eyes, when I go see an eye doctor, say, you have been looking at monitors way too hard, and that's why I've got to wear these glasses. So if I would have had this DesignShop a long time ago, maybe I wouldn't have to wear glasses. So good stuff. I got one last one. Let's see here. This is from Angela Olette, and let me see if I can scroll back up to her. This is the first time that I've seen the program. Looks very nice. How much is the software? Is it a full digitizing software, or is it limited? So the answer to that, Angela, is pop over to melco.com and check it out. We've got full-blown versions of digitizing software. Then we have levels that are, if you're farming out your digitizing and you're only doing lettering, we've got a level for that. So Melco has been doing embroidery software. Scott, how long have we been doing embroidery software, would you say?
And we came out with the Digitrack, which set the whole industry on fire, because previous to that machine, everything had to be digitized stitch by stitch. It was
Wow.
ferocious. That
Like,
was in
go ahead.
1976.
76. And before that, it was like a reel of paper that had like hole punches in it or something, right?
Yeah, you hear people, digitizers like myself, being called punchers, or let's get the design punched. You're like, what? But it became that way because as the digitizer would squeeze the trigger to make a stitch on the board, so to speak, with a puck, basically, it would mechanically punch three holes of paper tape, one for X, one for Y, and a function code.
Wow.
And so that's we got called the puncher. My old company used to be called Punch Express, which was in the 90s. Digitizing.
I always thought it was a boxing thing, but it's a great.
And a
Hey,
lot of people.
I want to make a shout out to Surrey Grizzle. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm horrible with names. I apologize. Just ask my own kids; they freak out because I don't call them by the right name. But they're saying waiting on my machine to come with exclamation mark exclamation mark. We're excited for you. And then let's see here. Let's see. I use Brilliant Stitch software now. Okay, so the question from Angela Olette. I use Brilliant Stitch Artist now. How does this compare to this software? Um, so I've actually had a chance to use. All right, sir. I'm glad I got it right. Woohoo! But back to Angela's question, I've actually had a chance to use Brilliant software, and what I can tell you is it's a good program. I'm not going to say anything bad about that program by no means, but DesignShop has a tendency to put things in a much more efficient way, like commercial embroidery software should. So more times than not, the difference between home embroidery software and commercial embroidery software is how it creates those stitches and how it thinks about pathing of those stitches. Right, Scott? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I mean the difference in just one click versus being actually able to help it along and make good decisions for it. Yeah, that's
Cool.
exactly true.
All right. Well, let's jump back over to Scott's screen. So let me.
All right, here's just a generic EPS logo. I just want to kind of go through the walkthrough or the step through once again, so we can see though that the colors and the shapes and stuff are not in the order we would want to stitch them in. So I'd like some more control over this one. So I'll pick the conversion assistant. Oh, I probably would put red first. Then I would do the tan color finished by the dark. But this is going to give me problems because, I'm stitching the cream color before I stitch the dark. So that would mean 1956 would get covered over. So we're going to use the feature that says move this to another layer and allow me to do two separate color changes with the tan. All right, so if I already explained all this, I'll just quick go through the step through, whichever color order you like, or here I can do a general color pathing. So I would say start here and, end here, something like that. Next step. So for here, I'll just convert this pretty quick. Be careful you don't run fills up and down. This one just like is screaming, hey, run me up and down, as it'll be so easy to do this. That's going to merge with your the fabric weave grain, whatever you want to call it, and it tends to, the fabric pokes through the fills.
So if you run the fill vertically, like you said, it'll fall into the grains because majority materials the grains run vertical and not horizontal, right?
Yes, and I see a lot of vertical fills. So any other direction than straight up and down is sort of my plan. So I went with the single stitch direction for this. I'm going to go for the auto for this. Dot. Next color. Okay, so here's the problem is I haven't stitched the dark yet, so I got to get this onto another color. So that's where these come in right here. This is move, this is remove the element in the color layer. So I can come zoom in, and I'm just going to save these for later. Okay, and then I can go That's all I need for their order. Isn't that important on this one? And then I will stitch these two parts, next color. Now I have holes in here because I didn't turn my hole filter up enough. If I increased that, these would be gone. But real easy, like I showed you, I can just grab the delete all holes, click on that, then it's gone. General path order, we could go from here to say here. And next step. So I'll use the auto, see, just really fast to click and convert. Again, it doesn't matter the order I'm doing it here because it's already been decided with the pathing order. And this would be a single. Okay, next color. Now you can see my 1956 came back. So for this, let's go left to right. Next step, I'll use the auto. 2, 3, 4. Next color, it's done. So if I show you in color, you can see exactly how this all got converted and how we pushed this off to another level. So step through is pretty fast and gives you a lot more flexibility, definitely. Okay. Then we also can do, raster, of course. Vector is always the preferred choice, but sometimes you get raster art. So we have one called the TP in here. I'll blow this out. Okay. So this is just a raster image, right? There's no vectors to it. It's just chicken scratch or cocktail napkin scratch, as it's sometimes called. And so this will convert inside of the assistant also. We have some more control over different things. It's seeing this as two colors because it's a raster image. So we also have different artwork filters. So right here, I have clean, noisy, and line art. In this case, I'm going to go to line art. It's going to be nice and clear. I can move the colors down to 1 and match charts or do whatever I want to on something like that. Then we have the step through here. This is all one object. Look at this fine center line right here. So if I check this, you can turn it into a bean stitch, walk stitch, or a single line. And I go next step, and it's done. Pretty cool, huh? So it took all that chicken scratch and converted into consistent width lines, nice and crisp. Yep, there's always an area or two you got to take care of. Here I got an extra node. Pull that back, and that's going to fix it, and so on. But in general, no trims. How cool is that? I love the fine center line feature that we have. Okay. And one more cool one I want to show you. Fingerprint. So I saw this. Well, I'll show you two of them actually. So did I miss it? I guess I closed the file by mistake. Let me open it real fast.
That's all right. Way to leave the impression on our audience, Scott. Sorry.
So
I'm full of bad dad jokes today. So
yeah. You got any more coffee jokes?
I'll dig one up. One more for the day. So
okay. So I mean, this is these are vector fills, and so single line is kind of a cool option for this. Let's say I had some parts that were thicker, like this happened to be bumped out like that. If I convert it using complex fill, it's going to catch that. But let's try the new fine center line feature. So I'll go back into the assistant. I have one color. I'll probably go through and do center out like that. And next step, oops, fine center line is what I wanted. Sorry. I'm going to do it in a center column, center single line right now. Look at how cool that is, huh?
Hey, that is cool. That is cool.
Oh.
Scott, I do have a question for you, though. I know that you're a Beatles fan.
Okay.
What is the best Beatles song?
Hey, Jude.
Latte B. Latte B, latte B. No, okay. We'll stop right there. Enough jokes for today.
Yeah, but you can see how it puts it all together in single line, nice and crisp, and all sorts of good stuff like that. Let me just catch one more right here. Call it a day. So this one here is very similar, but it's all made up of vector fills. So this is all one element. So how do we get this into single line or whatever? Pretty simple. So we'll run it through here, and one color, go through the step through. And I'm going to use the single line for this. We'll go center out on the path. And next step. How cool is that, huh? It just generated.
Great looking design. I like that design.
Yeah, I know. Perfectly clear. It only jumped in between these areas here and connected all this all together. So hopefully you've got a little bit of a view of the conversion assistant and the different ways we can convert stuff and the new features we've added and kind of how they work. Any more questions, Mike?
Well, just a couple shout outs. Natalie Gilpin, which Natalie, in case anybody didn't know this, she used to be our in-house trainer at the corporate facility in Colorado. Natalie wrote on, said, honestly, though, miss you and your dry humor. So, Natalie, we miss you as well. Adina Morando has a question. She said, when I converted to V11, my custom hoop list is gone. Any way to get it back, or do I have to add them again? So always my suggestion, Adina, is whenever you create a custom hoop and add it to your database, always do a backup of that MDB file. And I believe on Melco service, we've got information on that. Unfortunately, Adina, there's a good chance that would be pretty hard to get back. Now, we have added all the allied hoops in there, and we've added some mighty hoops that we're missing as well. So make sure to check the list of standard hoops and see if they're in there. So,
or sometimes I find they have picked their hoops, that they have in their list. And when you install the new software and get a new hoop database, that list is you have to go add them back in.
Yeah. Okay.
So, meaning that one or the other, but yeah.
Yeah, and you're very welcome, Medina. Judy Hart posted, going to have to rewatch this video many times for Mike's jokes. No, she doesn't say that. She says, great set. So just fast forward through the jokes. They're bad dad jokes. All right, Scott, I think, unless we have some other questions, Adina, it looks like Dan just posted the article on the Hoop database. Thank you, Dan. Unless we have further questions, did you have another demo to give, or is this good for the assistant?
I think, yeah, instead of my carrying on for 10, I could talk about embroidery just forever. I love it so much. Yeah, I think I'm good right here if everybody else is.
Good. So Margaret just posted, I thought the updates was able to come by email. Margaret, it is able to come by email. I would give Melco a call to see if we've got the right email address. And then also I would check to make sure that your spam filter didn't catch our email. Maybe it did come to you and got caught in your spam. So give us a call and we can take a look and re-email that to you for sure. I just want to give a couple more shout outs, Scott. Let me bring you and I back up on the screen here. Big shout out to the beta team that has helped us test over the last many months. Really have helped us as a company deliver a product that is worthy of what we deserve or what our customers deserve. So thanks again for being a beta tester. If you're interested in being a beta tester, if you've got those skills, we're always looking for new people. Email us at applications, that's with an S at the end, so applications@melco.com. If you've got questions on the product, would love to answer those for you at applications@melco.com. I want to also give a shout out to Samantha. I call her Sam, so I apologize. So, like, who's Sam and who's Samantha? Samantha Airball will be doing our Design Shop talk this Friday. She'll be picking a topic of DesignShop v11 and kind of showing that feature, but also answering your questions. So make sure to tune in Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time because we'll be back on, and her classes she's awesome in teaching. So join us there. And then next Wednesday, be a real special treat. Nate is going to go into a whole bunch of different lettering features that DesignShop v11 has. And so Nate and I will be on for that. And let's see, Scott, do you have anything else?
Just about the lettering. Last night I was testing some of the new stuff, and that contextual OTF, and is just unbelievable. As you're typing letters on screen, they change because they figure out what letters work better together, and so you'll have A and then type.
Like in scripts where they don't connect, they actually go back and reconnect. That's so cool.
Yeah, and swooshes. Oh, now the swoosh on the D isn't going to fit because the E is next to it, and it'll instantly change it. Yeah, Nate, you'll have to watch that next week. That is just a jaw-dropping thing, in my opinion. So cool, and the alternates and all that.
A couple more posts. Joe Miller, thanks for these videos. DSV11 is awesome. You all did a yeoman's job. You all did a yeoman's job. Yeoman's. I don't know. I'll have to look that one up. I think I get it, but thank you, Jim. Suri said, great job, really enjoy the training sessions. Gina, excellent class, thanks Scott and Mike D. So, once again, thank you for joining us on this Facebook and YouTube Wednesday. Let us know what questions you have. Reach out to us. Once again, Melco is based and successful because of our customers being successful. So thank you very much, and y'all have a great day.
All right. See y'all next time.
It ain't tight here. I can't figure out how to close it. All right, there we go.